All aboard!
We are going off
that
the rails. That was very good, Rhino. I love that transition. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Rails, our weekly, weirdly long tangential show that we have here on the Diz Unplugged. I am Craig Williams. I am joined alongside by Denny Sunderly.
Hi there.
Jackie Gailey.
Hi, guys.
And Rhino.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And we have a very fun episode of Off the Rails for you. But before I get started with this episode and taking us through the topic, I have to remind you that this video is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, as well as the audio. This show is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like us and you want to support our content, please consider using Dreams Unlimited Travel. Remember, it is completely free. The agents are there to work as much as possible for you or as little as possible. They just want you to have the best, most perfect vacation. So again, if you like us, you want to support us, do it through Dreams Unlimited Travel. And you can get a free, no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And then also, please remember to give us a thumbs up here on this video if you are watching, as well as make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leaving us comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section. And if you're listening to this, hey, go ahead, make sure you're subscribed. And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please leave us a good rating and review. So we are currently still on the best and worst feed. However, we're already starting secret discussions that no one else I'm sitting on here with knows about, with the best and worst coming back soon one day. So yeah, I'm just going to stop talking about that. So maybe this will get off the best and worst feed eventually. We'll have to just wait and see and find out, but we'll keep you up to date with all of that. So today's topic is a somber one, but not in a bad way. I don't think so. But we're talking about missing stuff about Disney, and I'm not leaving this in just with Walt Disney World. I think we've talked a lot about the stuff we're missing at Walt Disney World in our what we took for granted episodes, as well as what you took for granted. So now we're gonna broaden the conversation a little bit more. Maybe not stuff that we took for granted, just stuff we genuinely miss and want to reminisce about. And a lot of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is we are doing this after the announcement of Disneyland Forward and that whole project. And, you know, we're also still hot on the heels of the Disneyland opening date reopening announcement. And yeah, right now it's just like, I feel like all of these announcements and even the Disney Plus lineup with theatrical switches around, everything is just making me miss certain aspects of Disney. So I wanted to talk about what do we miss? What's something that someone here is missing right now?
A mint julep. I feel like with the announcement of Disneyland being able to open at the end of April, plus there being, we talked about Disneyland Forward. It's just like everything Disneyland. I'm like, I can almost taste that mint julep, and I want nothing more than to like have that mint julep, be in New Orleans Square at Disneyland Park, going to Disney California Adventure, getting my cozy cone, all this stuff. It's like, we're almost there, and it's just like I want it so bad. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's not just like that item that I miss, it's the actual like the excitement of a Disneyland trip. Like, we always normally take that 6 a.m. flight, 6 or 7 a.m. flight, so it means like waking up at like 2 a.m. for me, 2 or 3, and like going to the airport, and you're exhausted, but just like getting there and then like having that day, and just like the change in temperature from day to night in California, being able to like do something, like I miss it so much. And I didn't, before I was like, yeah, I miss it. But now, because we've been talking about Disneyland stuff so much, it's like all that sensory recall stuff I'm getting. You can do all these magical things. You can do the Saturday snacks. You can do, the at home, the drinks, and make what reminds you of Disneyland. But it's not. It no matter how good it is, it could even be better. You could end up making something better than it was in the theme park. it will never be the actual one from the theme park is the only thing. So you're just like, sometimes you just want that thing, you know, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah. I know what you mean with the sensory aspect of it all. It was just a couple days ago, but I felt like I was in California at Disneyland because we don't usually have drastic shifts in weather in Florida, but sometimes it'll be like maybe a 15-20 degree difference in change, but in Disneyland, it feels like every day is like 35 degrees different. You'll wake up,
Yeah.
it'll be in the mid 50s, it'll get up into the 90s and then drop back down into the 60s and 50s overnight, and you're like, how is this even possible? It defies logic. But we had one of those days here where I woke up and it was still in the 50s, and it did get into the high 80s by the end of the day, and I was like, this is like instantly makes me feel like I'm staying off property at Disneyland, and I'm all bundled up as I'm walking to the park saying like, I don't know why I brought a jacket, because in 4 hours from now I'm going to be sweating so much, and this was such a mistake. But I could picture the palm trees walking down Catella and Harbor and with everyone else. It just like, I felt like I was there for a second. And that's when I realized I've got to stop drinking that early in the morning, because I was clearly having hallucinations. But
good ones though.
Yeah.
I agree with just missing Disneyland in general. There are two specific spots that I miss right now that I'm kind of I'd love to get back to eventually here. And one, and it's the same thing, because it's an environmental kind of thing. Like, you've got to be there at a certain moment, but an evening sitting outside of Jolly Holiday Bakery and Cafe, and the lights, the string lights are all illuminated, and everyone's walking up and down Main Street and the hub, and you're just sitting out there eating a grilled cheese and with the tomato bisque. Like, it's so simple, but it's so iconically, uniquely Disneyland. And I would love that. The Carnation Cafe is breakfast at the Carnation Cafe is right up there with it. And then also the Disneyland Hotel. Just being kind of outside where the coffee house is, and you've got the pool over to the side, and maybe you're eating one of those yummy donuts that the coffee house has. It is just being there. And it's so different than, what we have here at Walt Disney World is amazing, but there is just something, it's like magic, and it's the magic, it's the history, everything is, Disneyland is dripping with it. And it will be a moment to savor when we're able to get back out there and soak that up again.
Jackie?
For sure. Oh, I'm all nostalgic for Disneyland now. And I want to be in New Orleans Square, and I want to go into Les Baton Rouge and shop for their amazing pieces of jewelry that they have in there, and just sit on a bench and just watch the hustle and bustle. And I love Disneyland so much. But my thing that I'm really missing right now is being able to dine in the fantastic restaurants at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I loved being able to just plan a 2-night quick weekend to head over and not really have a big busy schedule, but we would have breakfast at Boma and have dinner the next night at Jico, or the other way around, have dinner at Jico on our first night and then breakfast at Boma, and then we'd take off. But I miss just being able to do that. So I can easily book a room at Kidani Village, but I just miss the things that are in the main Animal Kingdom Lodge, those restaurants. I miss them. So I miss the ability, and I can't wait for them to open back up. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Boma specifically, because that is one of my family's absolute favorite places. And in fact, when our son turned 18, we told him that he could pick any restaurant at Walt Disney World, and we would go and we would celebrate his birthday there. And that was the restaurant he chose. And so it's a special place for us, and I want to be able to go again.
Yeah,
It's funny.
Go
Go
ahead, Denny.
ahead.
Sorry.
Well, you mentioned Boma and your son picking it. Our son has done the same thing. So he's 25 now, but just, in the past handful of years, we've been there celebrating his birthday and also my husband's birthday. There's something for everyone at Boma, and it's also accessible. Like, yes, there are different flavors there and different preparations, but it's also so approachable for the entire member, just all the members of the family. It's just so much fun. It's funny that you mentioned restaurants, Jackie, because the restaurants of World Showcase are on my list. And while some of them have reopened, those that really rely heavily on some of the international college program cast members, international cast in general, have not reopened. And I miss that. While we've got activities going on in the World Showcase, it's just not quite the same. And so I agree with you completely.
Yeah, restaurants are always a easy thing to miss because humans, we are so weird that we attach so much emotion to food. But I mean, that's truly, Rhino kicked this off with mint juleps and moving on to Boma and World Showcase. But I get it too. I just recently went to World Showcase to do a dining review, and I basically I'm on quick service budget right now for dining reviews, and that's why you don't see a lot of sit down dining happening. But as I'm looking at all the places, it's cool to see that for the most part, a lot of Epcot's quick service locations are open. I mean, there's some gaps here and there, but for the most part, they're all open. But then I'm like, I made the choice to go to Lotus Blossom. And I'm standing outside of Lotus Blossom just saying to myself, like, okay, I'm going to eat here, but why in the world is Nine Dragons not open? The only reason I can give myself is that because the Frozen line is going to extend so far out that it's always in China every single day, it's blocking the entrance to Nine Dragons. So maybe that's part of the reason why they can't get it reopened. I'm just kidding. I know that there's plenty more reasons for it than that, but it's with Epcot and World Showcase in particular, people attach so much of why they love World Showcase to the fact that they can eat at these locations. It is the shopping and the aesthetics and the music, all of that, but it's about the food. Let's say if we're going to be completely honest, then when not all of them are open, it does make the World Showcase experience not as great as it was. And it's only a matter of time before it all comes back. But I'm missing right now a lot the Port Orleans hotels, both French Quarter and Riverside. I just keep thinking to myself, there's been plenty of days where I'm like, I really need to go over and walk around and just be there. I love the aesthetics of both hotels so much. And then it pops in my head as I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, I can't because they're not back online yet. And I know that a lot of people are probably missing them in that same way too. There's something about those hotels that just, maybe it's because those were the hotels we stayed at the most when I was growing up and I was little, that I still have such an attachment to them. But it really, really bums me out that I haven't been to them in so long. So when they are opened up again, I can guarantee that I will be taking full advantage of being able to spend time over there just walking around.
Mm-hmm. Those two resorts were the first. Oh, sorry. Those two resorts are the first thing that I put on my list when you brought up this morning's topic. Just real quick, I scribbled down Port Orleans because going by French Quarter was one of the very last things I did last year before everything shut down because of COVID. And because I went over to review a couple of their snacks, their Mardi Gras inspired snacks. And Mardi Gras came and went this year. And when it came, I kind of went, oh yeah, let's do something Mardi Gras. No, it's closed. I can't go do that. And their Sassagoula Floatworks is a quick service that like my husband and I'll pop over, when we're able to. They've got a great salad. My husband loves the gumbo, and it's cheap and it's good. And you get to sit there in this amazing resort, restaurant, quick service restaurant area and gobble it all down. It's so much fun walking into French Quarter. And Riverside is just so lovely and peaceful. And when the horse and carriage rides are happening in the evening, it's just so tranquil. And it's weird having those two resorts closed.
Yeah.
I miss the comfort, not the comfort, but I miss I guess so. I was filming, I did a shopping around the boardwalk video for my shopping video this week. And I walked into, I had to double check like a million times because that's the person I am, is if those resorts were even open. Cause I was like, they're open, right? Like, I'm pretty sure they're open. Like walking in there, I was both surprised about what was open and what isn't open, but I also was like walking in some places and I really felt like I was in a place I wasn't supposed to be in.
Mm.
So, because I was like, I don't know if the whole resort is open, if only part of this resort is open. And I was like, should I be down this hallway? Should I not be down this hallway? And I was like, I've had that feeling with a lot of stuff at Disney World lately where I just don't know whether things are open or not. You know what I mean? I don't know how to put it. I know that walks that line of missing, but also being like, oh, I took for granted just knowing that something existed and that it would be open. But I miss just the comfortability that comes with being an annual pass holder, living in the area of being like, yeah, I can go do that or I can go do that. And then confidently, all my confidence has been shot and I miss that. So.
Mine too. That's another thing that I had jotted down too about what I miss was it's not a physical, tangible thing, but it's the feeling that I get when I go to Disney. The last 2 times I've gone this past year, my feeling is not like it used to be because it's so different right now. And I miss that excited feeling of what's today's adventure is going to hold, or and I found myself walking around and everything was just so different and I wanted it to be the same and it wasn't. And just kind of what you were saying about that feeling, that comfort level of, just, I miss that too. I hear you. When we went to Magic Kingdom the last time, my husband and my daughter were uncomfortable being there because it felt crowded and they couldn't get out of there fast enough. That is not something that is okay in my family. But I sort of felt the same way, although I didn't admit it to myself at the time. But we're not the family who can't wait to leave the Magic Kingdom. That's just not us. So I want that to go away.
Speaking of that too, Jackie, I was talking to somebody yesterday about this, is that, putting everything aside, we're, we're aware there's a pandemic and obviously things are different right now. It's not even about it's about there's a new level of rules and just rules and restrictions that are company policy to follow. And I guess I miss the days when it would just be an annoying kid sitting on a chain and being like, that kid's going to fall and crack his head open. And I feel bad, but the parents will be like, my kid can do whatever they want. Now it's become so much more, it's like, it's having to be like, stand on the marker, 6 feet away, that sort of stuff. I might have frozen again. I don't know. But I just, it adds this like extra level. And I miss that kind of comfortability that you get in the theme park from that too, I guess. It's just like it's I'm just somebody who is constantly I have really bad anxiety, obviously, and I am just, it's hard for me being in a place with so many rules that I do appreciate, but just always having people not following rules. And it has nothing to do, I'm not even talking it from the pandemic perspective or anything like that. I'm just talking about it from simple, straightforward, like, please wait behind this line, please do this, please do that. And when I worked there, it was the same way. It's just on a whole nother level, and I don't know. I miss the day when I saw more people following the rules than not. And I know that's just part of a shift that happens, with a paradigm shift like this. So hopefully it'll have been adjusted sooner than later. I don't know.
Well, it's a feeling of levity that, and I think we're all, whether you're here in the parks or you're at the grocery store at home, I think you feel it, like there's a palpable, just a little bit more of a heaviness that's going on. And of course, when the parks were designed, they were designed as escapes. And and right now there is a great big part of the outside world that we have to continue to carry with us. Like you said, Rhino, for good reason. These are all really great rules to help keep us safe, but that outside world is encroaching on our happy place, and
it's rude.
And it's
Stop
just it makes it a little bit. It's just it's different. So I look forward to the day when I'm not mumbling under my mask about all of these things. Or people mostly what I'm grumbling about is people who aren't following those rules as I go along. I'll have to remember I don't have a mask on my face anymore, and I can't just go around mumbling to myself when we can actually walk in without masks on. But that is, I feel you, Rhino. I get you, because there is this shift in mindset that we have to have now in the parks and pretty much wherever we go.
Yeah. I don't want this to become all of the things that we can't wait once restrictions have loosened up. But when you're speaking about the masks and rules and following it, like it dawned on me, because it's been like my biggest irksome thing happening lately. Every single time I go to sit down at a quick service meal, unless it's a completely off time, I am like, I get to the seating area and there's no tables, because there's just not enough spots right now for people to just sit down and rest. And I know they're only the people who are supposed to be eating at that restaurant should be sitting at the tables. And some, they're a lot stricter than others. But I mean, people, they know this, so they'll just sit down with a bottle of water. And meanwhile, you're carrying around a tray of food. And like, what do I do? Like, I can't just stand and eat this on a trash can in the middle of nowhere. So I can't. Oh, tables being able, all of them being able to be used. Like, I miss that. I can't wait for that to be open.
Baseline Tap House. I can't wait for them to start being able to sit at any one of those benches again, because right now it is out of control with people just running up and sitting down and being like, oh yeah, my party's at the end of the line. And I want to be like, okay, well, somebody who just ordered their drink could have sat down, had the drink, and been done and gone by the time your party got up here. So like, I miss order. I miss the order.
I mean, anyone who has, anyone in the group who's been with me when I'm holding a drink probably knows that I've dropped like $100 worth of beer on the ground because I can't walk and hold a drink. So I'm like, I need tables where I can get it as quickly as possible. Sit down. Like, I can't walk around World Showcase and step to the side and then take a sip. I will lose half of that. I don't care if I have one drop at the bottom. I will find a way to splash it out over the rim. I don't know what happens to me. I'm terrible with it, but Yeah,
You
beer.
need a
Good.
It's like
sippy cup.
the harder you try not to, the
Yes.
more that spills out. It just
Yeah.
gets worse. Like,
No, Denny's right. It's I'm sure someone has already created the adult sippy cup out there that where we can just throw a lid on top of it, and not with straws, but
Yep.
I'm sure
Mhm.
it's out there. I mean, I guess I could just pour everything into a Tervis. I don't know. I'm going down this road
Starbucks
by
has a good
myself
one.
right now. Yeah, it's I'll
There
figure
you
it all
go.
out. But you know,
Please help Craig think of ways to get
yeah,
get his drink where
that's
it
going to
needs
be
to
the
go.
comment
his beer.
section about all of this. It's like you are in your mid 30s and you don't know how to hold a drink and how to pour it into other drinking vessels. How dare you insult us with
We all
your
have our
intelligence?
strengths. Listen.
Um, but one of the other things I wanted to bring up this morning, as of the day that we're recording it, is when they officially confirmed the rumor that the United Kingdom was going to be getting special sailings on Disney Cruise Line exclusive to the UK, little staycations, 2, 3, 4 night staycations. And that once again just drove the nail in the heart of how much I miss cruising. But I'm going to be honest, it's not even for me, it's not about the cruising anymore, I think, because I don't like most of the destinations I usually go to when I'm cruising. I don't like the Bahamas. I do love Castaway Cay, but I don't love the Bahamas. I don't love anything in the Caribbean at all. I'm look like my forehead. If you could have seen it yesterday, it was bright red, like as if someone slapped me multiple times over and over again. And I don't do well with sun, even with sunscreen. So I don't really care about that. But I want to get on a ship and just walk around in the halls and listen to the music that's playing and be on the top deck and having that pre-sail away drink. Like I want all that.
Yes.
I want it. I don't need to leave the port.
Yeah. Like we could do that. Can't they do that here? What they're doing in the UK? Just quick little for
Unfortunately,
Florida residents only.
I
Please.
don't I don't know. I know that we did like back in 2013 and then again in like 2015. I was on 2 cruises that never actually parked anywhere, but they were only 2, each one of them was 2 nights. So I don't know if there's because that's obviously the thing with cruising is that it has to stop at a foreign port if it's going out of the US. So
Yeah.
I don't know
is that really a requirement? You just can't be at sea?
Yes, you have to stop
interesting.
at a foreign port. From my understanding with it all the time, that was the case, except for those two 2-night cruises that I was on where that was just, it wasn't a thing. You just went out and we sailed along the coastline and then came back in. But I don't know if that was because of the circumstances of those being special cruises or whatnot. But it's wild to me.
I would
it's
book
really
that
wild to me.
tomorrow.
But
I would pack my bag right now and go tomorrow if we could have that.
like I said, I don't even need to go out. I think I would be just fine just getting on the ship and it could stay parked in Port Canaveral and just get on and walk around, go and eat at a restaurant on there. It would be like the most, and they could charge me $30 for it. And I would probably, a taste of Disney Cruise Line. That's what they could call it. A touch of Disney Cruise Line.
Just let us pretend it's a sail away party and dance the Cupid shuffle, and I'll be happy.
That would literally, they could charge $100 for that, where you could get on and pretend like it's the first night of the cruise, and then at the end of the day, they're like, "Okay, get off the
See you
ship.
later.
Just,
I pay it.
just
Get out.
I'll pay it. Yep.
It's funny that they just don't have them as like sitting hotels where it's just like the ship just stays put and they just are like load people in and out and then if the resorts are open and people are staying inside, I don't know.
Yeah. Like I'm sure again it comes into some weird maritime laws, but this past year would have seemed as good a time of any to get crazy with maritime laws. If we were ever going to, like, why not? Why not change some things up? There's not already enough going on. Let's start dealing with weird laws that have been made years and years ago that probably have to do with piracy. I'm not quite sure. It's just if it's water, there's got to be something to do with pirates, right?
Pirates, definitely.
One
In the-
assumes.
In the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's the Caribbean, the Bahamas, all the places where the pirates supposedly are from. I don't know. It's someone will help us in the comments
that.
with pirate lore and maritime laws, I'm sure. And if they don't, then
Yes.
what's the point of having an audience at all?
If we don't
Oh,
have pirate
dear.
experts watching our show, then what are we even doing this for?
What are we doing?
Why do we even get
I've
out of
been-
bed in the morning?
Agree.
I went to the shipwreck museum in Key West when I did that port. It wasn't even an excursion. I went to the shipwreck museum in Key West on one of our Disney Magic cruises. So I wouldn't classify myself as an expert.
Okay,
But it was very
not our
interesting.
chief pirate expert here at the Diz. So
No, but it was super interesting.
now, well,
Yeah, there's
go
just
ahead.
something about being on the cruise, right? It is again, I feel like it is just we're stepping out of the real world and we're stepping into a place where everything is crafted to give us this experience that we can't get anywhere else. That's fun, and there's the only schedule you have to worry about is when to meet Mickey and Minnie, or when to go take a galley tour, or bourbon tasting, or spa appointment, or go sit my butt on a lounge chair for 5 hours. Like that's and I think, I mean, don't we all need that right about now? Every single person needs this, and to be back on those ships. And for me, I've said it before, it's the smell of the ships. I love the smell of the ships, and I think it's going to be a day we are all just going to rejoice when we get to step back on and they say our names and welcome us with applause again.
Yeah.
Ooh, can't wait.
I want nothing more than to get on the Magic and just go and sit in O'Gill's for 5 days a week. I want to make sure that by the end of day one that the bartenders in there know me by my first name, which that makes me feel like a regular and like someone actually likes me. And I want that. I want that so much. But it's one of those aspects that, if you cruise, you understand it. If you don't, you're probably just looking at us like, I don't get you. Why wouldn't isn't Walt Disney World good enough for you? And the answer is no, it's not. It's not just good enough.
Fantastic.
I need it all.
Yeah.
Disney fans need everything. We need Disneyland.
All
we
of it.
need Disney Cruise Line. The last thing I wanted to bring up before we wrap up too is I love that we are getting closer to the theater experience of seeing movies in theaters again. I know lots of people out there probably have been going to theaters and such, but it's not just like, oh, here's some old releases mixed in with stuff that was on VOD that maybe you cared about or not. Like, I like that it's finally happening. Like, I know Black Widow gets pushed back a month, but like I know now I will
2
get
months.
to see 2 months. Thank you. Sorry. I would now know though, I will definitely be seeing Black Widow in theaters. And that is so exciting. That is, I wish I could see
Yay.
Luca in theaters, but I'll take Black Widow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Marvel movies are meant to be seen in the theater. All the movies are meant to be seen in the theater, and to actually be able to go communally have that experience with others that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I miss the popcorn. I miss the Dolby Cinema. I miss the nice recliner. I miss just slipping out of this world for 2 hours and not having to worry about, because for me, it's like, I don't have a TV that has like great sound. And so like, you never get sound like you do in a movie theater. And then when you're in a Dolby theater, it's just this incredible sound experience, or an IMAX theater is the same, and it's just like, I miss that big, loud, also me sitting and shoving my mouth nonstop with popcorn. I just miss it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can shut off. A lot of people, I hope they can shut off when they're watching a movie at home. But like, I know probably for most of us, like, it's if I go to a theater, all I have is my phone and my watch on me, and my watch goes into theater mode, and my phone obviously is either turned off or in complete silent mode, and that's how I leave it. But at home, it's like, even if I did that with my devices downstairs, then I have my computer upstairs and another computer that will be dinging off in the background. And then getting my wife to turn off her phone during a movie is impossible. So then that's breaking it. Like,
Then
there's
you got the dogs, you know?
yeah, the dogs is
Right.
2 minutes into it will want to go outside and start playing. And it's like, it will be amazing to have those distraction-free zones, minus the people sitting next to you who paid $40 for their tickets and drinks, probably more than that, and then decide to talk the entire movie all the way through. Not about the movie, just about, so how's your
And
Thursday
loudly,
going?
too. Not even a whisper.
Nice.
Who knew what a whisper was?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I wouldn't have got that KFC spicy chicken bucket. It's really settling hard on me. Like, why are you talking about that right now in the middle of a movie? It makes absolutely no sense. And that's just some of the nicer stuff I've heard talked about during a movie. But I just, yeah.
That's when
I'm-
you check your popcorn backwards and smack your head with it.
yeah, then
Oh,
and then
sorry, did I do
I'll
that?
be the one to get kicked out of the movie. Sorry, sir, you're creating too much of a distraction for other people right now. We're going to need you to stop that, and please exit the theater at your request, please. Thank you.
I hope we get to that sweet spot of going back to the theater where they still won't let other people who aren't in your group sit next to you, because that's where I'm like, that's my sweet spot.
Yes.
That's my like,
Love
okay,
that.
I want to be able to go, but them still say it's lower capacity and you can't sit next to somebody you don't know. So like, I want to buy my seat and then have the two next to me blocked off, and like,
That's
Yeah.
I'm right there too, because I was always that
I'll do that.
unfortunate person that I could go see a movie at 11 o'clock at night and when I buy my ticket, I'm the only one in the theater. And sure enough, there will be one other person who comes in a second before the movie starts and sits down right beside me. Well,
empty theater still too. And they look, and then you're like,
What?
do I get up and move? But then because it's assigned seating, you're like, well, if somebody comes out, because somebody else comes in, they're going to be like, what are you doing in my seat? And I don't want to be that person.
well, it's like you saw. I bought my ticket hours ago. I was the only one in there, so you knew that you were buying this seat right beside me. What kind of person does that? That is so weird.
What is wrong with you?
Like, I have to assume that either you're going to try to steal from me, murder me. I don't know.
They were
but-
like, they were waiting and were like, ooh, yay. My favorite thing to go sit and breathe on a stranger.
oh, I'm sure that is the motivation behind some of them. It's like
That's when you turn the flashlight on your cell phone and you shine it at them and you say, "What are you doing?"
Mm.
yeah. That's too bold for me. I'd rather just be passive aggressive and do some big sighs and
I do this thing and I stare and I go,
yeah.
There you go. Or that.
and if it doesn't work, I just keep doing it.
You do the cough, the
I have gotten to the point where I'll be like, can you shut up? I can't. There's no in between for me. It's the clear the throat, the sigh, and then I'm just like, F word. Like, get out of my mouth. Like, and I just like that person who I'm like, I went from 0 to 100. Like, I can't. There's no in between. There's no, hi, excuse me. Could I respectfully respect you while you're disrespecting me? I tried it in Blade Runner once, and the people like went off on me, and I was like, you walked into this movie an hour. This is a 3-hour movie. You walked in an hour after it started and opened up your purse to have a whole full on. Speaking of KFC, it was a full chicken dinner, and I was like, and they're like, I can't find my glasses. Where are my glasses? And I was like, excuse me. And then finally, I was just like, shh, and the lady was like, are you shushing me? And I was like, yeah, ma'am, you walked in here an hour late. You just like completely. Then they left 45 minutes later. 45 minutes. They came in to just have a peaceful dinner together. This older
During the
couple
movie.
just came in to have a nice, just theater hopping. I'm assuming. I got to assume that way, or they were just like wrong about the theater and we're like, oh, look at that Harrison Ford. Look how good he looks.
That's. I look forward to one day being old and getting confused about which movies I'm trying to see and buy tickets for.
Walking in an hour in and being like, it must have just started. All this dramatic stuff is happening. I couldn't have missed too much. Is that gentleman with the stones on his hands snapping? Is this the beginning? The beginning of that movie?
I
Is
tell
this
this
that
story.
musical I wanted to see?
well,
5, 6, 7, 8.
I tell this
You're
story
all
too
dead.
often, and I probably have told it before, but my favorite story of my grandparents that I will never forget, they're still with us, but after they're gone, the one I will never forget is the time that they told me, like, well, we wanted to see the Clint Eastwood Trouble with the Curve baseball movie, but we bought tickets for Pitch Perfect thinking that that was the baseball movie.
Oopsie.
And they sat through the entire thing.
Oh my gosh.
Waiting for the baseball movie to start.
Yeah.
Like,
And so they sat through that, and I'm like, that is so
what a funny mistake, because it's like
That's
makes so much
awesome.
sense though. It's such an innocent mistake that if you're not looking at the
Mhm.
poster, you're just like, oh yeah, I want to see that baseball movie. Like,
Yeah, I'll see the
Right.
pitching one. Yeah, they're gonna. It's about
Yeah.
how he teaches them how to pitch the curveball. It's pitching. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
good.
That is perfect.
Oh, well, I think we actually didn't really say
Craig,
what we
that story was pitching.
Thank you. I was just about to say, I don't know if we just painted movie theaters in a great light. Like, we clearly said we missed the experience, but then we talked about every reason why we hate going to the movies.
We love because going to the movies and having that great movie theater experience is literally like people that are addicted to gambling. Not to bring up addiction as a thing to relate this to, but that's what it feels like to me, where I'm like, I refuse to give up, and I will throw the dice in every time I can to try and get that perfect 7. But you know what? 9 times out of 10, it's Snake Eyes.
we go to so many movies for the one time it will be a truly good experience, but we're willing to sit through.
And then you're just
everything else.
stressed out that whole time, being like, I know it's going to happen. Somebody's about to speak, and then you're the person that gets the cough and can't stop coughing.
Well,
Was that you, Craig, that happened to, where Kylie gave you the cough drop at the very end of a movie?
Yeah, it was at the Rise of Skywalker on opening night. We were at the joint theater showing that was like Disney executives, some media people, Disney Parks blog people. It was when Kylie and I are pretty sure that we had COVID, and back in December before it all came out, and she was on. I was still recovering a little bit. I wasn't as far
Because I was
as
in the
she
worst
was.
of it.
Yeah, you were at the worst of it, Rhino. But I was like good enough that I'm like, I can make it through the movie. Again, not knowing, just thinking I have like a head cold, and so. But she also had hers, and so she brought cough drops, and we got a Sprite to share, so that way we had something to wet our throats, and she brought the cough drops, but she didn't tell me. So I started I got the throat scratch like 20 minutes into the movie and started chugging the Sprite to try to get rid of it. And then in the last 30 seconds of it, I see her pull out a cough drop, and then of course the credits start rolling, and the first thing I'm like, you had cough drops this entire time and you didn't tell me. And she's like, well, if I would have gave up the cough drops to you and then I started coughing, then you would have yelled at me. And I was like, well,
It's so true.
you're
It's
actually
so
right.
true.
I would have.
Fair.
Oh, yeah. So, and I mean, yeah,
So
so
smart.
a scratchy throat did not make Rise of Skywalker. It didn't give it any help in the long run with it, but yeah, good time.
Hey.
That's funny.
Okay, I as conductor of this conversation, I'm going to close it off. So Choo Choo Master, Rhino, go ahead. Okay, that's it for this episode of Off the Rails. We hope you enjoyed this wacky, zany conversation that I don't know if you got anything out of it towards the end there, especially the last 20 minutes. I feel like we could probably just throw that all away. But if you enjoyed it and you wanna support us now, please do so by hitting that thumbs up, making sure you're subscribed, and then, of course, leaving comments, questions, and topic suggestions for for this show in the comment section on YouTube. And then, of course, if you are a listener, you can always reach out to us on social media and let us know what you think would make great ideas for going off the rails on. And yeah, also, if you're listening to this, please, again, make sure that you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, and that you are also leaving us ratings and reviews if you're listening through Apple Podcasts. And please consider using Dreams Unlimited Travel for your vacation planning needs. It will support us. You'll have a lot of help planning the perfect vacation. It's win-win. So dreamsunlimitedtravel.com to help with that. But thank you to my friends for having this weird chat with me.
So fun.
Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
I had
And
to cough there for a second. Sorry.
thank you. There he goes.
That'd be
There he
very
goes.
appropriate.
Yeah. So, okay. That's it, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.